Good morning, Team Alabama. We are going to read the second Achieve3000 article, and it is High-Tech Hide and Seek. High-Tech Hide and Seek. And we are going to read this stretch article at a Lexile level of a 1280. So you'll want to find that on the drop down on the stretch article, and then you'll read it at your Lexile level and do your activity. But before we do that, please make sure you take your before reading poll. Go ahead and pause this and do the before reading poll. And we are going to read the stretch article. The words that you will encounter that will be new to you are rappel, and that is, or might be new to you, rappel, to move down a steep cliff or rock by pushing your feet against its surface and sliding down a rope. That's rappel. And then the next word that might be new to you also is variegated, having patches or stripes and marks of different colors. So variegated. Okay, those are our new vocab words that we may encounter today. And the article again is High-Tech Hide and Seek. So the stretch article today. We were at the right coordinates and had been searching in the weeds forever when I finally felt a box. We quickly scanned for muggles or non-players who might be milling about, and then I carefully pulled the box out of its hiding place. Treasure found. But I won't tell you just yet what the prized possession was. My friend and I were playing a kind of high-tech hide-and-seek called geocaching, where players, I like to call them stashers, hide something random somewhere on Earth, and the other players, the seekers, have to find it using a global positioning system or a GPS device. I use my smartphone. I'm one of 10 million people around the world totally hooked on geocaching. Anyone can play this treasure hunting game because stashers publish the geographic coordinates of their hiding places online. Geocaching is over 20 years old, and there are more than 3 million caches stashed across 191 countries, which means you're probably close to a cache right now and you don't even know it. Stashers also leave clues online, like the cache's size, surroundings, and how hard it will be to find. Seekers never ignore these clues because even though most geocaches are large and easily reached, a few are minuscule meaning very, very small, or so well hidden that seekers have to do a whole lot of hunting to find them, which could even involve swimming, rappelling down a cliff, or launching into space. No kidding. There are geocaches hidden on the International Space Station. Players use latitude and longitude to get to the cache, but it's not an X marks the spot kind of game. That's because GPS devices are only accurate to within 6 to 20 feet. That's 1.8 to 6 meters. So when players reach the coordinates, the real quest begins. Even though the stashers aren't allowed to bury the caches, that doesn't stop them from finding clever ways to conceal them. Take, for example, the time that my friend and I found a cache stuffed into a decomposing log, and my very first find was leaning up against a stump, but it was camouflaged to look like the variegated bark of the tree. Some caches look identical to real objects, which make them even harder to spot. That's what geocachers call devious caches, disguised as something normal, like rocks, logs, metal bolts, even chewed up pieces of gum. Last summer, my family and I were ready to give up a search until my little brother picked up a rock and said he'd found the cache. I replied in my best big sister voice, "No, it'll be hidden." But then he turned the rock over and proudly stated, "It says official geocache on the bottom." He was right. The rock was a fake. Anyway, you're probably wondering if what's inside a geocache is worth all the fuss. And I admit that for most geocachers, the fun is just in the finding. So there's always a visitor log tucked inside the container where successful treasure hunters can sign their names. But some containers protect geo swag like trinkets, keychains, currency, or collectible stuff, which brings me back to my original story. So we opened the box, and inside was a replica of an ancient Roman coin, the best treasure ever. The rule is, though, that you can't take a geoswag item unless you replace it with something of equal or greater value. But that's no sweat. We geocachers are always prepared to swap. We had painted pictures of planets on some pebbles, so we popped them inside, and once we were free of muggles, we put the box back and headed home with our treasure. Next weekend, we're going to a geocaching event called the Cash In, Trash Out. It's one of the thousands of nonprofit environmental events held every year where geocachers follow GPS coordinates to a park and then work together to hunt for litter and haul it out. And this time, the muggles can help. Okay, guys, that's the end of the stretch article. I want you to go to your article at your Lexile level and read it, and make sure you get a 75% or higher on the first time through. And I hope you're remembering that you screenshot your scores along with the title and send it to me. Then I usually enter these on Monday as part of your grade. Okay, so make sure you're getting them completed. Have a great rest of your day, Team Alabama, and we will see you tomorrow.